The grieving family of a Wisconsin college student who died on spring break last year are working hard on two fronts this morning.
Yeah, Julia Sumnicht's family has hired a private investigator to try to find out who was responsible. And the family is also bringing awareness to the dangers of the drug that killed her. 21-year-old Julia Sumnicht aspired to one day become a model. But last year, while on spring break in Miami Beach, that dream ended. A toxic level of GHB, the date rape drug, was found in her system. Sometime after midnight on the day she died, Julia met up with Zoltan Prebzent, a celebrity photographer 15 years her senior, at a club in South Beach. The two actually met the year before, according to private investigator Chris Catania.
Zoltan was a photographer, club promoter in the Miami Beach area, paparazzi kind of guy.
The two, seen here in this surveillance video, arrived at the nearby Flamingo Towers at 4 a.m. Prebzent shared the condo with 44-year-old Jason Itzler. Itzler, who called himself the king of all pimps, is currently in New York facing felony charges of promoting prostitution and selling drugs. According to the New York Post, Itzler placed himself at the condo with the couple.
He admitted to, one, being in the apartment with Julia, and that he had consumed GHB himself, knowing that Julia would not have taken the drug on her own and that Itzler had access to it. You know, as an investigator, you put two and two together, and someone slipped Julia that drug.
Julia, who took this picture of herself shortly before her death, had high levels of the date rape drug in her system, but only trace amounts of alcohol.
My belief is that while she was at a club set, she was protecting herself, taking care of herself, you know, having a good time, but she was not consuming alcohol.
To date, no one has been charged in Julia's death. The investigation is ongoing.
And with us this morning are Julia's parents, Marie and Dan Sumnicht, and her sister JoJo. Good to have all of you with us this morning, and our condolences.
Thank you.
We know this is a tough thing for you to talk about, but you're doing it for obvious reasons, not only for justice for your daughter, but also so other families know the dangers out there. Dan, give us an idea. I know you really want justice for Julia. As we heard, no one's been charged. You've hired a private investigator. Do you think enough has been done to find out what happened?
Well, it's been 602 days, and we're still waiting for answers. We're very frustrated. We know that you can't dictate necessarily how leads will come in, but we just want to raise awareness and keep momentum going to try to get this investigation completed.
Marie, can we talk about these pictures a little bit? Because Julia clearly left some evidence here, right, that you guys have been looking at, and you got a lot of information from that. What have those told you?
The picture of her with her eyes closed, the ones at the end.
Yeah, maybe we can see that. This is the one we're talking about, yeah.
Well, we feel, as a family especially, that they were kind of a call for help, that she was telling us something, that something was wrong, something was not right. She would, from what we know of her, she would not take pictures like that. So we feel very strongly that she's calling for help. She's telling us something. Something's wrong.
Mm-hmm. Tell us, JoJo, she was your best friend. You guys were college roommates, too, at one point, right? And you don't believe that your sister would have done any of this, or gone into an unsafe situation.
No.
Tell us a little bit more about who Julia was.
All right, well, as a sister, as you mentioned, my mother homeschooled all four of us till middle school, so she was always my best friend. And because of that connection, I just know what she would do or say in situations. And Julia was a fighter. She fought for things that were right. And I just know that in this, she'd be the first to have my back in anything, and I want to fight for this for her.
Marie, did you even know what GHB was at the time when this happened?
Not at all. When they mentioned it at first, you know, I asked, is that like a date rape drug? And they said yes. And so as time went on, I looked into it a little bit and discovered what appears to be probably relatively harmless, because it's basically a tasteless, odorless, clear form, is actually made with very, very harsh toxic chemicals. And having found 3 times a lethal amount in Julia's body, I want someone to be held accountable for this.
I know there's a limited amount that you all can say right now because the investigation is ongoing, but do you think you know who is responsible? Or do you think police know who is responsible and they just haven't acted on that yet? Dan?
We have ideas. I think you can look at the events, and there is a certain list of people. And I think we will look forward to the police completing that investigation. And
Do you have faith that charges will be brought at some point?
Right now, I think we are confident. I think there are some pieces of evidence that have been coming in, and we just hope the police will investigate those.
And are you hoping that by speaking out about this, too, that you may influence someone to come forward who may know something?
We want to appeal to anybody with any information on this case to come forward. It's been 602 days. It's time.
And anybody a part of the case, that they can keep doing what they need to do.
And more importantly, the second part of your cause as well, do you feel like more people know about GHB now and the dangers it poses?
That's definitely something that I've realized since this has happened, that I see why people make things a mission, and I really do want that to get out there, that this is not a game. This is not, you can't be too careful. And also the people actually using and giving out these drugs, that this is what has happened to our family, leaving a huge hole in our hearts and our lives, and literally changing our lives forever. And that people just need to be aware of these consequences.
Thank you all for coming in this morning, Marie, Dan, JoJo.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.